Oh, shit. Here we go again.
And I'm sure you like watching football with your daughter. I know you sent me that picture the other day about this is how you do.
Yeah, she's going to have to get used to watching sports games. I mean, that's all there is to it. That's kind of what I told her. I was like, hey, I know you want to watch Super Kitties or whatever it is, but whenever there's football on, Daddy's going to watch football. That's why Daddy bought this 70-inch TV,
Here we go!
Is Caleb Williams supposed to play the rest of the season or what?
Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's probably going to be the number 1 draft pick. But don't you owe it to, the fans of USC and people who are depending on you to play the season? Now, the national title's out of the picture. I know the Heisman is probably out of the picture as well. But, man, just on principle, don't you want to finish something that you started? Time once again for your favorite weekly podcast, Real Conversations with Cozy and Murph. I'm one half of this amazing show. I'm here with my co-host. We had a little technical difficulties. I thought he was going to rage quit, but we worked through it. We are here. What's going on, JD? Finally got that mic working.
For the love of God, the universe is testing me today, which is going to be an opening subject I feel like maybe even the premise for today. I am stressed.
You just got to persevere. Persevere.
Pushing through, which I'll tell you a story in a moment. But glad to finally have the mic working. Going to sound a lot better this week. Thank you, everybody, for toughing it out last week. Murph, man, what a fucking weekend of football. What a weekend of life. How was your weekend, my brother?
Actually, really good. Birthday was Saturday. Did nothing but watch football all day. Sunday, we went over to my parents' house for a little bit. Watched all the NFL games I could. And then Monday, I took the day off and we just hung around here at the house and just chilled. And it was a nice, relaxing day off. And good weekend for my fantasy teams, though. We'll get to that later. No, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about my other leagues. I'm not talking about this one. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, some of my bets hit, so it was a good weekend for me, man. What about you?
It was a good weekend. Did just spend a lot of time. Like I said in the last week, me and Kayla kind of just been shutting her down on the weekends, trying to save some money, get things together. So it was a more relaxing weekend, but we did get 2 big dubs this weekend with Ohio State and Philly. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Me and Kayla yesterday were on the phone talking about how dope would it be that we could possibly be in Philadelphia while there's a World Series game going on and the Eagles are playing the Cowboys. And then last night, Philly went and ruined it all. Fucking Phillies.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and start with that. I mean,
yeah, baseball, baby. That's where I wanted to start because it's a lot on my fucking.
We might as well. We might as well. We got our World Series set up, so.
Well, for most of the world, you know that this is not the most appetizing World Series matchup, but we do have the Texas Rangers against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and 2 teams that 2 seasons ago lost 100 regular season games are turned around as quick as can be. I mean, Arizona didn't make the playoffs last year. The Rangers weren't very good last year. It's just the craziest of turnarounds to see these 2 teams back in the World Series. And it came down to some really exciting championship series matchups. I mean, the Phillies and D-backs series went all the way to the end, and same with the Astros and Rangers. And it's just been good baseball. And I hate that people, it's kind of like the NBA. Nobody really tunes in during the regular season because it's so elongated. But the storylines behind a lot of these guys were very fun all the way down to the end. The Phillies and all of their struggles, and they somehow weasel their way against the loaded NL division. Corbin Carroll being, the rookie of the year and the face of a team that's going into the World Series. The Rangers, who went out and bought their team, made it back against the team who cheated their way to a World Series in years past. And it's just, the storylines are amazing. So if you're really into baseball, this is going to be, I know it's not like the big market seller, but it's still going to be good baseball because these are two good teams. I know you've been enjoying it at least,
Yeah, it's been entertaining. I'm one of those fans that don't really watch until the playoffs just because, two things. Twofold. First off, my team's terrible. I know I mention this just about every episode. But Mets, no hope for the Mets. Two, that's just too much baseball. And it's just too much. It's 162 regular season games. I don't really, I'm not invested in it until the games really start to count. And yeah, it was fun. It was a fun run for Philadelphia. I know we discussed it on previous episodes about our love for the city of Philly and just the sports culture surrounding that city. But man, the D-backs, dude, they came out of nowhere. They were dead in the water. And that's what's so fascinating about baseball is a team can be hot in the beginning, slow in the middle, and then heat back up and make the playoffs and make a World Series run. And it's just, it's fun to get into. I know a lot of people not as many people watch baseball as they do football, but for people like you and me who know the game and love the game and grew up just, as with baseball part of our lives, it is fun to see, especially two teams that we don't get to see a lot of when it comes to postseason play. And so I'm happy for Max Scherzer, man. Had a one Game 7 for him, along with Aroldis Garcia going off for 2 home runs and 5 ribbies. Man, Philly, the big story for me is Philly going ice fucking cold at the end and just
when it mattered.
When it really mattered. And like I said, I think the momentum really shifted after they blew that game. They lost 2-1. And really after that, it was like the Diamondbacks gained all the momentum and were able to slowly but surely chip away at the Phillies. And they go into Citizens Bank Park and beat them twice. That's incredible. So I'm really excited to see what happens Friday. I think it'll be a good series. I know ratings probably won't be the best because it's just two low market teams. If it was the Yankees and the fucking Dodgers, then everybody would be watching. But it is what it is for the people who enjoy the storylines and the narrative aspect of it. It's fun to watch all those stories come to fruition and how the season's going to end.
It's definitely two good teams. They're the two teams that, just like in any other sports, they deserve it. They fought their asses off all the way to the end, and they beat good teams all along the way. Both rosters up and down have studs. I mean, the Rangers' offense is unreal. The Diamondbacks' offense seems to be the most clutch. Now, pitching might be the separator because people will look at Arizona's pitching staff and say, there's nothing really impeccable about what they bring to the table other than maybe Zach Gallen. But the Rangers, they have studs.
The Rangers have Evaldi. I like Evaldi a lot.
Evaldi, Scherzer, Jose Leclerc. Why am I missing guys? It's like I'm going blank now. But both teams are good. And
go ahead.
I'm going to say that Fat.
I think that's how you say it. Fat.
PFADDT, PFAADT, maybe whatever. He put on quite a show too.
Yeah, he pitched a hell of a game last night, I thought.
Yeah. I got
rookie, only 25 years old.
I got respect for all these guys. This was my dream.
I think that's what makes it the so interesting for people like you and me is because this was our dream. Game 7, NLCS. What you do in the backyard playing wiffle ball with your buddies,
exactly. It's like Game 7, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
I was really rooting for some magic there at the end. I really wanted,
man.
And Philadelphia had every chance, man. They had every chance to do it, and the bats weren't there. They weren't there. I don't know what it was. I mean, it just seemed like they were swinging at bad pitches. Is what it seemed like to me, and they just kind of had too much aggression at the plate.
I think that the Diamondbacks figured out what their weaknesses were, and they really went to film and figured things out and found a game plan to attack the Phillies. And the Phillies are chase guys. You can get ahead with the first pitch fastball and then play chase.
Right, and they're gonna swing yourself out because I mean they're aggressive, and that can be a strength, but that can also be a weakness as well.
Yeah.
I think really what shifted is they got aggressive on the base pass. Arizona did. If you looked at the numbers, I think they had 1 steal in game 1 through 5, and then through game 6 and 7 they had like 6 or 7 steals. So they got aggressive. They were trying to move runners in scoring position, and it worked out in their favor. So.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll, I mean, I don't know if you've seen him yesterday. The reason that they started off that first inning and got a run in the first inning is because dude bleeds a hit up the middle and then has a ball, a looping single behind him, and he goes first to third when in most scenarios nobody's making it, and then scores easily. It's like that's the difference maker in those really close matchups is – base running ability and taking bags when you can get them, bro. And I think that might be the separator. If Arizona's going to win this, that's how they win it right there. Well, the Rangers got serious pop.
Yeah, I was going to say the Rangers can go off for 8, 9, 10 runs at any given moment with their lineup. So,
but the Rangers remind me so much of the Phillies.
Yes,
the same aspect.
I was
what I'm saying?
Getting ready to follow that up with. Have amazing pop, high-powered offense, but can also swing themselves out of a game, So I think, great matchup. Diamondbacks, they're the small ball, aggressive on the base pass, solid defensively. The pitching's not necessarily their strong suit, but they have some dudes that can throw. I just think it's going to come down to pitching, honestly. That's what every World Series comes down to is the better pitching. More times than not.
I also agree that I think that is what is going to be the difference maker.
I think having that experience on the mound is going to work out for the Rangers.
Yeah. But, I think that's what's going to be put it over the edge.
Yeah, I think there'll be some close games. I just hope it's not every game a blowout. That's what I hate is like you get to the NBA Finals or the World Series and it's a blowout every single game, one way or the other. Like I want to see some close games, high pressure situations. Last thing I want to say about the World Series is shout out to Bruce Bochy.
Yes,
one of the great managers of our time. He took San Francisco to. What was it, 3 World Series or 4 World Series? I can't remember.
3 World Series in 6 years.
Yeah, that's
every other
dynasty
year.
Almost.
Pretty sure it was, 11, 13, and 15?
Something like that.
Tim Lincecum, Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Bell. They had some fun – Buster Posey. They had some fun players on those teams, dude.
Right. And then he comes to Arlington, coach the Rangers and takes them to the World Series. So he's one of the greats.
Oh yeah. Shout out Bruce Bochy. If you're into looking for some good baseball, this will be a good matchup to watch. I think every casual fan will enjoy what's to come. There'll be some good offense, good pitching. I say definitely take a moment, tune in, see what baseball has to offer in their most fun time of the year. Now, let's move on. Let's get past baseball because we're not primarily a baseball podcast, and that is not the complete avenue that we're chasing, although we do love sports. College football.
College football. Let's go. Let's get into it.
I talked all that shit.
Unranked UVA heads into Chapel Hill and pulls out the upset of number 10 UNC 31-27. So I didn't get to watch this game, but I did see the score at the end of the night, and I totally expected North Carolina to win this game. I think Virginia was 1-5 coming into this game. I want to say. I mean, not a great football team, and
no.
Go on the road and beat a top 10 team. I mean, that's one of the biggest upsets of the year so far.
I wasn't expecting it at all. It threw me for a loop, but that's the college football experience. It seems like every time you think something isn't going to happen, it does happen. I mean,
it's all the chips are falling for Alabama to fucking inch their way back into the top 4, top 5.
It really does fucking.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
It grinds my gears that it always fucking works out, and okay. So let me say this because we can talk about Alabama for a hot second. I watched Nick Saban on the Part of My Take, or not part. I watched Nick Saban talk on Pat McAfee the other day, and as much as it kind of irks me, I can't deny that Nick Saban might be honestly the most likable guy. He has the right mindset. He's seriously smart. He's genuine. He cares about his guys. He's like a true leader of men. And when you hear him do these pressers or interviews, or he goes on these podcasts, you can't help but not like the guy. And it's like when we talked about Kirk Cousins last year with the quarterback, it's the same type of thing where it's like he's true to himself.
He's got charisma.
Yes, bro. And you understand why he gets recruits, because when he talks, you're literally inspired.
He's one of those guys that could convince you that water is not wet. You know,
it's legit.
He exudes confidence and greatness. I mean, regardless of what you think about Alabama football as a program or whatever, you have to respect what Nick Saban has built there. One of, if not the greatest college football dynasty. Every year they have one top 5 recruiting class year in, year out. This year has been a struggle, but they have clawed and fought their way to 7-1. Looking at going back into the top 10 after North Carolina loses this game, and then Penn State lost also. So there's 2 spots right there in the top 10 that I could easily see Bama squeezing into. It's just, you have to admire what he's done there. And like you said, he's very genuine and very, what you see is what you get. And what I love, what the great coaches do is no matter what, winning by 20, losing by 20, close game, whatever, he's coaching his ass off, whether it's the third string or the starter. He is going to coach you as hard as he can every time he's on that field. And then you have to respect that. That's what I wanted out of my coaches. They, as an athlete, you're expected to go out and give your all, your everything, and be ready and be prepared. And so in return, I expect the coaches to do the same. And Coach Nick Saban will always be coaching his ass off if he's on that sideline.
He can have my respect. I'll give that to him. But as for his teams, I don't want them to win. So we'll let bygones be bygones.
I don't think they're going to win this year.
Dude, they'll be in
they'll
the
be there. I don't know if
they'll
win.
Yeah. It'll be tough to pull that off. But I mean, he's like, you can't deny the fact that an Alabama team will be at the end fighting its fucking way.
Hey, it's just what he does. He's proven that even at his age that he can still coach with the best. So, all right, next game, number 6, Oklahoma barely skates by UCF 31-29. Knights had a chance to tie it at the end, possibly send it to overtime, but they went for 2 and could not convert. I didn't get to watch a lot of this game. I did watch the final 2-point conversion, but this was a game that was on my radar. I was checking the score because my uncle actually teaches down in South Florida or Central Florida, so he's like a big Knights fan. And we were texting back and forth talking about, what it would mean for UCF if they beat Oklahoma. And I just had to tell him, I was like, I don't think they're going to pull it off. I think Oklahoma wins this game, but hey,
It was close.
Knights gave them a hell of a run for their money.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Dylan Gabriel, is he number 2 in the Heisman race right now? You think? Behind,
I think it's Michael Penix, yes, and then I'd have
Gabriel.
to look at the numbers, but Gabriel's up there. I think that Jordan Travis kid from Florida State, he's up there as well.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about how Florida State is also undefeated still somehow. I mean, they are. So you got to give them.
Yeah,
give them their respect.
I think it goes Michael Penix, Dylan Gabriel, and then probably Jordan Travis.
I can respect that. Now, as for Oklahoma, though, I've always had a distaste for Oklahoma, but it's a little bit of parity since in the last couple of years. I think Baker Mayfield put a sour taste in my mouth a couple of years ago, and now I respectively like Baker Mayfield. So it's good to see Oklahoma still. As long as Oklahoma wins and wins their way out, Alabama's not making their way back in because Ohio State and Michigan will be in at the end, which we need to talk about Michigan later on, but we're not there yet.
We will. Okay, next game, number 14 Utah goes on the road to beat number 18 USC 34-32 on a last-second field goal.
Why does USC own Caleb Williams?
You mean Utah? Utah owns Caleb Williams.
Why does Utah own Caleb Williams?
He is 0-3 against Utah, and I don't know. They just got his number. It's just one of those things that maybe it's a mental thing for Caleb. I don't know. But it just seems like every time he goes against the Utes, he ends up on the losing side. So second straight week that he's shown regression. I don't think this is dropping his draft stock any, though. I think, you expect a young quarterback to go through a tough stretch. But we'll see. I don't think this is scaring anybody off just because he's had 2 bad games in a row, which I don't even think he necessarily played a bad game against Utah. He just didn't play good enough to win.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be something that drops his draft stock, but it just seems that Lincoln Riley is getting pushed more and more into the negative light because his defenses are just getting exposed week after week now. And maybe we can just have this conversation now. Is Caleb Williams supposed to play the rest of the season or what?
I know there's been a lot of discussion about whether he should or shouldn't play. And, in my opinion, I think he should play simply on principle of it. I know he stands to make a lot of money in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. He's probably going to be the number 1 draft pick. But don't you owe it to, the fans of USC and, the people who are depending on you to play the season? Now, the national title's out of the picture. I know the Heisman is probably out of the picture as well. But, man, just on principle, don't you want to finish something that you started? And I know, he could get hurt and it's going to cost him money. But, man, I don't know, man. To me, you play out and you give it your best shot and go into the NFL because a lot of these guys that you're playing with, this is it for them. I just think it would be super, super selfish for him not to at least play the regular season out. Now, if they make it to a bowl and he opts out of playing in the bowl, I can completely agree with that. I can completely get on board with that. But you set out this season to you had a goal. Yeah, you might fall short of your goal, national champion, Heisman, second year in a row, but you have to finish out. That's just my opinion.
I'm like so.
I can see it from both angles. Don't get me wrong. I understand the logic behind shutting it down and setting out.
I'm like really on the fence for like, should Caleb Williams play or should he not?
I know. I mean, I know I sound old school when I say this, but there's a lot of kids that look up to Caleb Williams, and what message does that send? That just because we lost a couple games, I'm not going to play anymore. I mean, to me, that's bad optics. So I don't know. I don't really have a personal opinion on Caleb Williams off the field. I just can only judge him, by what I see on the field. And I mean, he's a generational player. He's going to make an impact day one in the NFL.
I'm like trying to think this through as if I was him. I'm seeing it. I've already proven myself. Do I really like? It's such a torn feeling for me to say I'm not gonna play the rest of the year because my bag is already secured. But if you come from that mindset, yes, you do let down everybody along the way. But how many of these people also are going to be with you at the end of the race? I don't know how many of these guys may be his best friends. They may not be. They may just be, teammates to him. I guess it's personal. But if I was Caleb Williams, and I'm more or less on the same side as you, I would be saying there is no reason for me to play. I have nothing left to prove. I don't have to prove anybody wrong. Anybody that's against me, fuck them. But I'm going to play for the fact that I've already created an environment and this team relies on me. And it would be disgusting behavior. It'd be quitter behavior if I just quit on them now. And I'm not willing to do that. Oh, man, I feel – I
mean, I would be very conflicted. I'm very conflicted. But at the end of the day, man, that's just that's just how I was raised. You start out, you set a goal, you have, it's okay. Prime example. Whenever I was 7 years old, right, I wanted to play baseball, but I also wanted to play soccer. Okay, so we were doing both, and I didn't really enjoy playing soccer, and I told my parents I wanted to quit. And they told me, you're going to finish out this season. You don't have to play next year or whatever, but, you already committed. You signed up. You're going to finish out the season, whether you play any at all. That's up to you, but you're going to at least be there on principle. So that's just how I was raised. That's just kind of what I think about it. If I was in that situation, I don't know what I would do because I've never been in that situation.
Yeah, and I will never be in that situation, so therefore I guess I really don't need to stress over it. But there's going to be a lot of conversation. There's going to be a lot of conversation about that coming up. I think the media is going to pursue that, and with each week, even if they win out, what's the best that they can do? Maybe the Rose Bowl? I mean, I guess
Pac-12 champions. That's still in play. Champion.
Yeah. So it would be cool for him.
Wouldn't it be cool to actually win something? I mean, I know he won the Heisman. That's pretty cool. But that's an individual award.
Cool. Yeah.
That's an individual award, though. Wouldn't it be cool to win something as a team?
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, hey, we'll see what he does. It's going to be an interesting offseason for him, getting ready for the draft and all that.
Apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for pondering on that so much. But that is like genuine conflict that arises in my heart when I try to think about like what I would do in that scenario, because it's like, if you really think about it, it's a tough one
It
to
is.
try and
It's
process.
becoming tougher and tougher to navigate this collegiate landscape. Like, I'm kind of grateful that, I wasn't and will never be in that predicament, because I don't know what I would do. So next game, we'll talk about this game, and then we'll get on to the big game that I know you want to talk about. Number 8, Texas secures the close road victory over Houston, 31-24. Quinn Ewers was injured and did leave the game, didn't finish. But it does seem that Ewers' injury doesn't appear to be season-ending, but he will miss some time because it is an injury to his throwing shoulder. So, Houston gave Texas all they wanted.
Which, do you remember a couple years ago when Houston was a team that was on the president?
They were like top 10.
Yeah, they were an undefeated team, and they beat Texas one year, and it really put them in, a contention for being one of the teams that was at the end of it all. And this game reminded me of like those Texas teams, except for this Texas team found a way even without their quarterback. And I guess I'm bringing it full circle to say, I know Texas slipped up against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is still undefeated as they are. But I think this Texas team is the real deal, because there's games that in college football that you're not going to win, and you have to find a way to win. And this was one of them games with their quarterback going down. They figure out a way. I like this Texas team, dude. And I think maybe I have bias because Quinn Ewers is the quarterback and he chose Ohio State to get out of Texas. But I don't know. I have a pretty damn good feeling about this Texas team. I think they're really going to be like 5-6, right on the edge when time comes for that, last team in. They're going to be pushing the conversation there.
They will for sure be in the conversation. As long as they don't have any more slip-ups, they'll be in the conversation for sure. All right, number 3, Ohio State, the big game of the week for Mr. JD. Ohio State wins the defensive struggle against divisional opponent number 7, Penn State, 20-12. James Franklin is now 1-9 against Ohio State during his time at Penn State. And I can't remember what his record was against top 25 teams, but it's something not good. So, with that being said, Ryan Day and the Buckeyes continue to win big games. I think it's past time to give the coach and the quarterback their due credit. I know you like to hate on McCord, but I honestly, in my honest opinion, I think he's a pretty decent QB. But everything is for naught if they lose to Michigan. That is the biggest game of the year. Have to beat Michigan.
So I will give props to Quinn Ewers and Ryan Day. I will say, great job, fellas. You figured it out. Let's keep the train moving. This Ohio State showing was one of those ones that makes me remember why I am an Ohio State fan, because even when I, in my gut, truly and fully believe, like, okay, this is probably the one where we got, I get proved wrong, and it feels good. Like, I get to celebrate and be happy, and it's like Ryan Day teams in the past. Yes, they have had the quirk. Like, they're not tough. They have their issues, and I think Ryan Day has had to look in the mirror and say, okay, I can't do it all. I don't know it all. I may be great, but I'm not perfect. And that's where, he finally steps down and lets Knowles take over the defense. And since he's gotten here, Ohio State defense has flipped a 180 in the years. I remember not even 3, 4, 5 years ago where it was either we scored 40, 50 points a game or we were going. It's like it was the USC problem that is currently going on. Our secondary would get burnt to a crisp. And this all could be for naught because Penn State is probably highly overrated. But in the same breath, two big games already, Notre Dame and Penn State, and they have been trench battles, old school style football games. And it just makes me feel all the more better as an Ohio State fan to know that when the going gets tough, Ohio State does have the guts to try and stick it out and, find a way to make it happen. So I don't know if Penn State's as good as, advertised, but I think Ohio State's defense is as good as advertised.
Yeah, I think we were texting back and forth there in that game, and I was legitimately impressed with Ohio State's defense. This is one of those games where the score is a little bit closer than what the game actually was. This was Ohio State it felt like Ohio State was in control of that game pretty much from the first quarter on. Not a lot of offense. I think, like I said, it was a very defensive game. I think Penn State's defense did a great job, keeping Marvin Harrison from burning them there until the very end. And so, I don't know. It was a good showing for Ohio State, but like I said, none of this matters if you don't beat Michigan. Straight up. I mean, I know that it's a lot of pressure to put on one game, but last 2 years, you've got your tail whipped. So that's the big question mark hanging over Ryan Day's head is, can he beat Michigan? And for all, everything that's been said, Michigan is a powerhouse this year. I know they haven't really played anybody tough yet, but they are a powerhouse.
They're definitely going to be trouble when we get our chance with them, but this team feels they just
find a way to win tough games. That's what I really take away from it.
In games, in Ohio State teams in the past, it's been so much reliant on quarterback play that it always came down to if the quarterback was a tick off, we were losing. And I think that the best part for this team is the quarterback isn't the final benefactor for this team. He may not be the top 5 NFL draft pick, but I think because of that, the rest of the team realizes how great that they have to be, and that makes them work better as a complete and entire unit. So this team feels more competent to handle a loaded Michigan roster, I think. And I hope I made that sound coherent, like in a way that's digestible. Because I think we can do it, and I hope so. And it's a weird place to where we say it's like, I think we can beat Michigan. Like, I truly, fully feel that Michigan has enough going on right now to where it's going to get to a point where things are going to get distracting. And maybe we should jump there because
the last thing I was going to say is what gives me confidence in Ohio State is that they've already played 2 big games and that were very close games, 1-score games, and they came out the victor. So that gives me more confidence moving into the Michigan game. Game. So last thing, JT Tuimoloau.
Oh, yes.
Is an absolute animal. I love watching that kid play. I mean, he just gets after it when he's on the field. Probably your best defensive player. Bro.
He put on a show last year, and there was a lot of question marks. Is this just like, product of the moment? But he's shown up in big games and really made big plays over his career.
He reminds me of like a Hassan Reddick, maybe type. Or like a Micah Parsons type player.
He's just so fucking big, and he moves so well. Like his moves are really that good.
Yeah, for as big as he is.
Yeah.
Great.
It's very
All right.
impressive to watch him play.
Michigan. Scandal. Controversy. Hardball.
Bum, bum, bum.
Stealing signs. Spygate 2.0. Michigan edition. I think that all this is a smear campaign. You can't beat them, so you gotta discredit them. That's what it seems like to me.
I could see it.
I mean, every major program is doing the same exact thing. It's just Michigan, they're good now, and so they're, they've got a target on their back, and now, so this is a whole lot of nothing to me. It's a deflate gate, It's just a smear campaign, like I said. I think, yes, they probably are stealing signs and they are, doing some shady shit. But like I said, every other fucking powerhouse school is doing the same thing. And I love Steve Sarkisian. I love his answer to the question, which is Texas head coach. He said, why do you think we have all these guys wearing different shirts and throwing up all kinds of crazy signs? And we have, 2 or 3 poster boards full of random stuff. It's because we know that there's teams here trying to check our signals. And so, you have to have all kinds of misdirection and diversion away from what you're doing. And so, I mean, this is something that's a non-issue. Like I said, it's just something to drum up in the media to try to just, like you were talking about earlier, to distract Michigan from, the football aspect. So, I don't know. I think it's all, like I said, it's all just a distraction. All right, Kentucky was on a bye this week, thank God. They couldn't ruin my birthday. Didn't have to watch that mess on my birthday, thank God. Key week 9 matchups. I have number 20 Duke at number 18 Louisville, number 8 Oregon at number 13 Utah, number 21 Tennessee at unranked UK, number 3 Ohio State at unranked Wisconsin. I think that's going to be an underrated game. I mean, Wisconsin's 5-2. I know they're not ranked, but there's some history there. Should be a good game. All right, let's get on to our Week 7 NFL review. Let's drive through these games and do our pick'ems, and then do like just a few minutes on the NBA, and then we'll get out of here. I had New Orleans, and let me just say, I would not want to play with Derek Carr. Point blank, period. He throws a tantrum out there. I mean, I know that maybe the receivers weren't running the right routes, or maybe, the offense was not moving in a positive direction, but man, it just seemed like every play he was throwing his hands up, like screaming at guys. And it's like, okay, that's one thing if you're Tom Brady doing that, but you're Derek Carr. Okay. You can't just berate everybody and expect people to just fall in line behind you. Like, you have to score points in the red zone, my boy. Like, it's crazy. Every time they get in the red zone, it's like he just freezes up and cannot put the ball in the end zone. I don't know what it is. And I know Foster Moreau, the tight end, had one of the most crazy drops, like one of the easiest drops of the season. He easily could have caught that ball wide open in the back of the end zone, could have tied the game up, but he drops it. And man, I don't know. The Saints just look awful offensively. Defensively, they look great. Offensively, they look terrible. Jacksonville, they just continue to roll. I think they're on a 4-game win streak now.
I don't really care to talk about the Saints. I just want to give praise to the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they are. They're a good team. They're going to run away with that division at this point. I don't know there's just nothing in the way of them. And I think Trevor Lawrence, ETN was the right pick. Trevor Lawrence was and has been the guy that's going to be perfect for what Doug Peterson does. And it seems to be everything clicking down there in Jacksonville. And, you were saying 4 wins in a row. I know that they're predicted for a lot more than that, but, I mean, they figured it out, and I think they're on the right track.
Yeah, I think they're going to be there at the end in the AFC. I think they'll be there.
All day, every day. What about that Browns-Colts game?
Man, I'm talking about a shootout.
How about a shootout?
It was
Yeah,
it was a good game. Cleveland, I think, is actually a good team. You know, obviously Deshaun Watson re-injured his shoulder, I think, or maybe he was in concussion protocol. I know he exited the game, and then PJ Walker came in. Minshew looked like he was going to pull off the dub, and then Cleveland there at the end just did enough to find the end zone. But this was one of those games that had some terrible calls for Indy. So I don't know. There's got to be something that happens with these refs that make these terrible calls each week. It's like week in and week out.
So I was, again, referencing to the Pat McAfee show because I listened to Aaron Rodgers on Tuesday, and he was talking about this because obviously Pat McAfee is a Colts fan. He's, long time kicker for the Colts. Aaron Rodgers was saying, instead of belittling the refs because it's obviously ridiculously hard, how about we just finally give them some help? Why do we not have the eye in the sky that they go to every single time there is a questionable call? Why haven't we made referees full-time gigs? Why are these guys part-time refs and then have full-time jobs outside of work? Like, these guys just come up off the street. The one guy was a substitute teacher or at a middle school. Like, that, it makes no sense to me. Like, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and yet they don't have this shit figured out. It's super fucking weird to me that this is the standard in the NFL. Like, this is what we are just going to sit here and accept and say, this is how it is. You just get blown calls every now and again. Like, no, there's too much money here, especially with betting. There's too much money here for these guys to not get it right. So let's call in some fucking help, maybe, and bring these guys, I don't know, to the promised land or whatever. Let's have a real officiating. But that whole conversation alone will lead me into what I texted you earlier about how I'm on sports rigged conspiracy bullshit, because none of this shit really fucking makes sense to me.
There's just too much money involved.
Yeah, it's like, it'd be too easy to do all that. Why would we do that? It's fucking dumb. That's what it is. Shit pisses me off. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. The Browns, Myles Garrett, he was the star of the show. If you don't know who Myles Garrett is, ladies and gentlemen, he is a monster of a human being. Dude tears games apart. And as much as I do like what the Colts have going on, they're just not going to be in position to win games if the NFL decides that they're not going to be the winning team. That is the bottom line, and that is how it goes, and that's what we will go with.
All right, next game.
I'm fucking rambling at this point because I forgot that I brought up that fucking sports risk rig thing to you, because I was deep in some fucking thought earlier.
You're down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. All right, Bills, Patriots. Mac Jones saves this season. Probably not getting cut or all the bad things that were going to happen to Mac Jones, because he finally beat somebody worth of shit. He knocked off the Patriots. He did have a game-winning drive at the end.
Divisional opponent.
I've seen they cut Malik Cunningham, though, and I don't know. I think that's bad for the Patriots, or it's a genius move by Belichick to say, hey, we're just going to waive you as a distraction technique for I don't know, something. There's something in there. Some reason that he cut him. I haven't figured out why, but he did it for some reason. But Mac Jones keeps his job, so.
Yeah, I think it's time to start asking some questions about Buffalo. I know their defense is banged up, but man, losing to New England, who hasn't scored, they've scored 29 points maybe the whole season, and then you give up 29. And then just Josh Allen does not look the same. It doesn't look like last year's Josh Allen or the year before. It seems like he's taking a lot more chances and gambling a lot more, and it's just not paying off for him like it did in the past.
Yeah, I watched I keep saying I watched a lot of stuff, but they were talking about this on ESPN, and it's either Josh Allen and the game plan or it's Josh Allen the superhero. And it seems like when Josh Allen has to play superhero, it's just too much. Like, they're asking way too much of this poor guy. I kind of agree with that statement. It's like, why is there not enough there? Like, how have you guys not built around this guy at this point? I mean, he's done everything and beyond what you've asked in these years past. So I think it's time we figure it out. Get this guy what he needs, as in help, for the love of God. I mean, maybe even Josh Allen isn't that good. Maybe that's the real thing here. Like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I think he could be overrated, but I'm not there yet, but questions need to be asked.
Yeah. I could definitely see how it could be perceived that way, because like you tagged me in that GIF saying, he's good because he had a thriller with Mahomes a couple years ago. And I mean, it's definitely an argument to be asked, I think. I don't know. I'm very in between on Allen right now. I don't think anybody is better than him, especially not. I mean, I don't think he's better than anybody. Like, they're in that conversation of, like, I don't know, take Burrow for example or whatever. I think there's better. He isn't better than Burrow. He isn't better than Mahomes. Obviously, Mahomes is the guy. But I don't know. I'm rambling. Bills got beat. Patriots won. I guess I'm in a rambling mood today. I don't fucking understand why. All right, Commanders 7, Giants 14. I had the Commanders. You had the Commanders. And Tyrod Taylor decided, sorry, boys. 14 points is going to be enough. Commanders fall short. And Jonathan Allen is very, very upset about that. What do you got?
Yeah, man, Washington, they keep regressing. Jonathan Allen was not happy. He said he's tired of this shit. It's the same shit every year, which I feel that if I'm a Washington fan. It's been a while since they had a good team. But, man, Tyrod Taylor, I think, is the story here. He played well against Buffalo previous week, and then comes in and is able to get the dub against Washington, a divisional opponent. He takes care of the football. He's smart, veteran presence. And I think it kind of calls into question what Danny Dimes, what's the issue? If Tyrod Taylor can win with this team, why can't Danny Dimes, somebody that they paid millions and millions of dollars in the offseason?
I think they're running it seemed like, because I was watching the Commanders game, it seemed like they were running a simpler, easier offense than what Daniel Jones was trying to do. But then again, Tyrod looks like he has a couple seconds in the pocket at least compared to what Daniel Jones is doing, and I don't understand. It may be that Daniel Jones is that he's just not good enough, and I don't know that anybody ever really questioned if he was ever going to be good enough, but I don't know that he's worth it. Maybe they should, push him out for the time being.
Try to move off that contract.
Yeah, just try and get him out the door.
Even though it's year one.
Fuck it. Somebody will take it on, bro. Some coach out there is going, the things I could do. Like, imagine what
he's getting outplayed by the backup, and
Well,
can't have that if you're going to be a $40 million quarterback.
yeah. I seen a thing too where Saquon is being predicted to be traded. I don't know if you've seen those trade things at all yet.
No, but it wouldn't surprise me at this point.
They were talking about a trade to the Ravens for Saquon Barkley.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Oh, that would
All right,
grind my gears. Oh my god,
that would be
speaking
that the
of
rich
the
are
Ravens.
getting rich. Yeah, Detroit
Yeah, speaking
gets
of,
absolutely freaking destroyed by Baltimore. I think we both had Baltimore.
we both had Detroit.
No, I had Baltimore.
I had Detroit. That's what it was.
I think I think Detroit is not the same team when they have to play outside. Like when they play in the dome, I think they're fine, but when they play outside, I think that's kind of their kryptonite. I mean, they got their tails stomped. What was it, 38-6? Was not even close ever at any point in the game. Baltimore just, was a buzzsaw. I think Lamar went for 350 yards, something insane. And this is the best Lamar's looked, I think.
This was a statement game by Lamar. It was one of them ones where it was like, holy shit. This is the guy that everybody is saying he could never be. He didn't have to move. He was throwing dimes all over the field. Watching the highlights of this, it was like, dude, this guy right here, this Lamar Jackson is unbeatable. And even with all the shit that they added in the offseason, they still don't have all that great of weapons. Truthfully, Zay Flowers, yes, he is a dog, but they're without their one running back. And it's incredible how Lamar Jackson finds a way to will these Ravens teams every year. I think it's time that they put the slander off of Lamar finally and just be like, all right, he's in that tier. He's in that grouping. Like he can go out and, put a team on his back and carry him. I think they're good. I mean, this Lions team has been one of the best offenses in football this year, and they fucking shut it down too. Don't forget about the defense of the fucking Ravens either.
Yeah, Baltimore's one of the best teams in the league.
Which is, I don't know why I've never been a fan of Baltimore, but I don't know what it is, if their colors or how good they were back in the day. I don't fucking really know, but oh well. Lions lose, Ravens win, Ravens leading their division, which is a tough division. All right, so we have Raiders at Bears. We both took Raiders, but Tyson Bagent, 3 TD drives, bro. Says, not so fast. I'm not losing in my debut. What about it, dude?
He looked good. I mean, did everything they asked him to do, took care of the ball. He's one of those, guys out of left field that he's just a scrapper. He's a fighter, and he's gonna play tough no matter what. I know they're playing Las Vegas, but hey, a win is a win, especially in your debut. You'll take it. So we were off. Both of us had Las Vegas. I don't believe in Las Vegas. I just thought, rookie quarterback making his first start, I figured Las Vegas could at least pull that off. But no, Josh McDaniels, one of the worst coaches in the league. I don't think he has long. Left in Las Vegas as far as a head coach goes.
Now, I think this was a great sign to finally get him out the door, because this is a bad loss. Neither one of these teams is good, but it is what it is. All right, we have. Yeah, I must have missed this because I have you having the Buccaneers, so maybe I didn't listen thoroughly enough. Falcons 16, Buccaneers 13. Falcons kicker Young Wei Koo hits a game-ending 51-yard field goal to help the Falcons overcome Ritter's mistakes.
Man,
And what the hell was going on with Brian Robinson?
I don't know. You mean Bijan?
What the hell was going on with Bijan?
I don't know. They said he was sick. From what he said after the game is he had a headache and he couldn't play, and he ended up only recording one rush for like 3 yards or something like that. And I had him as an anytime touchdown scorer. Motherfucker. I didn't know he was sick. They should have.
That's what I thought they would do.
No, they didn't. But, I mean, Bijan, he wasn't on the injury report, so.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, it cost a lot of people money because it was, you seen it everywhere about how people were.
Yeah, they're pissed. And apparently, Atlanta's getting investigated now because they didn't put Bijan on the injury report. So somehow we found a way to win that game. Ritter has 2 red zone fumbles. One is a clear walk-in touchdown. All he has to do is tuck the ball and walk into the end zone, and ends up getting caught from behind, and the ball gets knocked out and goes out of the end zone, which ends up as a touchback. So thank God our defense was able to step up and get the ball back, and we were able to march down the field and give our kicker a chance to win the game for us. I think he's our best player this year. I mean, Ritter looked better as far as a passer goes, but man, turnovers have to stop. The turnovers have to be fixed.
Yeah. It's been a tough run for Ritter. I think that I don't know if it's like the game's almost too fast for him. He just seems like he's just not all the way here.
Well, this will be his first full season starting, so I mean, I'm willing to give him at least that bit of slack. This is his first full year. I know he played a little bit last year, but this will be his first full season as a starter. So I think, man, I want him to be good just for the sake of the team, but we're still in the growing pains part of it. I think I would take him over Jordan Love. I would take him over Jordan Love easy. I would take him over Pickett. And I know Pickett's played well, but he also has I don't know. I don't want to see better teams, but I don't know. I think Arthur Smith is committed to sticking with Ritter, so Ritter will be the starter for this year, at least. As far as Tampa Bay goes, I mean, Baker just couldn't make the plays. He had one big touchdown throw to Mike Evans in the first half, and then after that, it was like the offense just stalled out.
No, I think I would definitely take him over Jordan Love. I'm very on the fence about taking him over Pickett. I think that Pickett has potential, that happens to be the next game to talk about, so we might as well. But Ritter, let's just see where he's at the end of the year. You guys are still in it. It's definitely a position where you guys could pull away with a wild card. I think you should definitely take advantage of that. So, I mean, as a Falcons fan, be happy for what you have, and hopefully,
I'm just happy to win. Period.
Like you've had your tough times, so this is something to be proud of. Speaking of Kenny Pickett, the Steelers come off with an upset over the Rams. It looks like I seen a replay thing where Matt Canada was upset again that Kenny Pickett went on his own and called a play for Najee into the end zone, and it worked out, and it was just, I thought it was funny, and he scored, and you could see the Matt Canada impression where he's sick about it. He's like, damn it, that's not the play that I called. I don't know. Steelers, it's whatever Tomlin does is whatever Tomlin does. They find a fucking way to win. They do it every time.
Yeah, it's crazy how they just, like you said, find ways to win. They're just a good ball club in that sense. Is like they don't do anything great. They do have a good defense, but they don't do anything spectacular. They don't do anything special. But it seems like they're in every single game. So I think they're figuring things out offensively. They're finding an identity. Pickens is has a superstar potential. And as far as the Rams go, I mean, they're just It's just another game that they could have gone either way, but the Rams just couldn't make the plays.
Yeah, I think Stafford and them look good. It's just it wasn't their day. It came down to it at the end. But this is another one of them games that we saw a very controversial call in. Kenny Pickett supposedly getting that first down. Don't know if it. When you look at the.
Oh yeah, he was short for sure. It's another blown call.
Another thing where it's just we need to start helping these refs out and get them a way to maximize on the best of what the NFL can be. So I think we're definitely missing out there. I don't know. Steelers find a way to win. That's a tough division. Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens. Like, that's a tough fucking division to be in right now. It's crazy to say that the Bengals are in last place. So I just would have never thought that, but they're also the most confident team I feel out of that division. All right. Cardinals at Seahawks. We both took the Seahawks. Jackson Smith and Jigba, big touchdown. Defense steps up. Cardinals did Cardinal things. Not much to talk about in this game, I think, except for Kenneth Walker, maybe 105. He's one of the best backs of the year, and I think he's getting overlooked.
Yeah, he's kind of flying under the radar because of all these other guys having good years. I think Walker, he's just a consistent back. He's going to be there week in and week out as long as he's healthy. He's going to put up numbers. He's an integral part of what the Seahawks want to do. I think in this game they just, executed their game plan, and Arizona, they're just not good. And so the good team executes their game plan well. They're going to win that game 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Very well said. I think there's, like you said, not much to talk about in this game. But this game, the next game, Packers, Broncos. Broncos avoid a second half blow up and sneak away with a win against the Packers, and you had the Broncos doing it. So
yes, sir. This was my long shot right here. I just felt the Denver win coming because, at the end of the day, I know that they've been talking about Sean Payton perhaps tanking and blowing up the roster and this, that, and the other. But I think at the end of the day, your casual fan forgets that it is hard to tank. As much as it is hard to win, it's hard to tank as well. To just not win, to just throw the game. Like, you can't blatantly do it. So you have to find ways here and there to try to, not win. But Russell Wilson, like I said, is probably might be a Hall of Famer. And at the end of the day, he's going to try to win.
Yeah.
He's going to go out there and give it his all. I mean, it might not be much, but he's going to give it what he's got. And it was just enough to beat Green Bay. And Green Bay is on a landslide right now. I don't know where they fall. I don't know if they're any better than the Bears right now.
I think that first week, if Jordan Love would have stunk it up, that there would definitely be a different vibe in the atmosphere right now.
But he's shown flashes.
Yeah.
He's shown flashes, which gives them hope. But I think that NFL defensive coordinators have figured Love out. Yeah. I think they know what he does well. They know what he doesn't do well, and they kind of force him, to do the things that he doesn't do well.
I also don't think the Packers are a good roster either. There's nothing about them.
They're the youngest team in football.
Yeah, there's nothing about them that's like, oh, that's enticing. It's like none of that is appealing to me in any sense of the word. I don't look at them and be like, oh, that's a threat of a team. So every week in every matchup, I'm kind of looking at it like they could win if they play good and not have any mistakes. I think that's just kind of how I'm going to view it from here on out. This isn't a team, obviously Aaron Rodgers isn't there. Aaron Rodgers was the reason they won so many games, and I think that they took that for granted. and
Yep.
it's finally starting to show. It's at the point where it's finally starting to show. Speaking of taking for granted, the fucking San Diego Chargers, Las Vegas Chargers.
San Diego.
I miss them in San Diego. It's when they were cool. But the Chargers are taking advantage of Justin Herbert by ruining his career and throwing every game because they suck absolutely bad. The Chiefs the Chargers let Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce go off for an absurd video game stat game, where Mahomes throws for 440 and Kelce goes for 179 receiving. I think it's time to just let Staley walk, dude. Get somebody in there. Get some help in there. Accept it for what it is. Give Herbert the career he deserves, because that boy's good, and he's a hard-working kid. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. I think she is the mojo for Travis. They said that he was averaging 108 yards per game whenever she's in attendance. So, hey, I know as much as you want to hate it, there might be something to this Taylor Swift buzz.
Taylor Swift. You're a selfish bitch.
Wow.
You're taking the shine away from the Bulls. This is supposed to be for us. It's kind of bullshit. She just shows up and steals our fucking Sundays. Now, like, a guy can't even sit down and watch football anymore without fucking hearing, "Oh, is Taylor Swift there?"
Hey, that's for the girls. We gotta get the girls involved a little bit.
If I wanted the girls there, I'd ask them myself. No, I'm just kidding. I do like Kayla. She don't really give two shits about that shit, but it is nice watching football with her. And I'm sure you like watching football with your daughter. I know you sent me that picture the other day about this is how you do.
Yeah, she's just gonna have to get used to watching sports games. I mean, there's all there is to it. That's kind of what I told her. I was like, hey, I know you want to watch Super Kitties or whatever it is, but whenever there's football on, Daddy's gonna watch football. That's why Daddy bought this 70-inch TV, to watch football.
There ain't a fucking damn thing.
Kansas City's they're gonna win that division and probably make it back to the Super Bowl.
I fully expect them to. I don't see any reason not to. It's just the path to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City, unfortunately.
Every year in the AFC.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. There's no real way about it. It's just, either you are on the train going with them, or you're fucking against them, and you'll see them at the end of hell. Because, by God, the fucking Chiefs are gonna be there. The Chiefs are good, dude. I can't say shit about them. I want to hate them. I really do. But every week they put on a way to fucking make you like them. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I love Travis and Jason Kelsey's podcast. They're both funny as shit. And like the guys that are Bengals fans that are my boys are like, oh, I hate them both. And I'm like, how? They're so fucking lovable, dude. It's like, fuck you guys. Oh, you're mad because they beat you in the Super Bowl. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Cry me a river. They're fucking funny as shit. I'll give it that. They're good peoples. I don't want to talk about them anymore. That makes me sad that they're always going to be good till the end of time. Till Mahomes dies, they're just going to be good. He's like saved their whole career. Franchise. I don't.
Yes, sir.
I'm rambling.
Last two games here. Well, we got Miami at Philadelphia.
So, the game finally where Philadelphia gets a standalone game. Sunday night, it was 8:20. A little bit of nerves kicking in, but Philadelphia showed up, put on a show. Defense showed out. I mean, there were still some question marks in this game. You know, what's going on with Hurts and, you know, the issues that he's having, but he still found a way to get the ball to A.J. Brown for another 125-yard game. I think the biggest question mark is, you know, how do the Eagles not have any flags? That's kind of the media look on it, people's look on it. But
Yeah, there were some missed calls. There were some missed calls in that game, but can't blame Philly for that. That's on the refs. So, redemption game for Philadelphia. They, you know, had that loss in the previous week. They come back, look great against Miami, shut down one of the most prominent offenses we've seen in the last, you know, decade. Shut them down to 17 points. Made Tua and Tyreek look human. You know, they had some issues in the secondary, but they addressed those issues this week. Traded for Kevin Byard, one of the best safeties in the league. Howie Roseman, one of the all-time great executives. I mean, he's just on the cutting edge of seems like every big NFL deal. He's always acquiring players and it's not just acquiring talent, it's acquiring talent that makes sense.
They're franchise changers, bro. He finds a way to get a deal and yeah, exactly. It fits a scheme. A couple years ago, Howie was under a lot of fire, and it was mostly to do with whatever was going on with the Carson Wentz scenario. And he has completely changed how he is viewed in Philadelphia for the moves that he's made. And at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to, like, simple. He's like, I'm just going to put Georgia guys on the defensive side, and I'm going to put Alabama guys on the offensive side. And it's going to work. I mean,
and I'm going to get everything. I'm going to milk Tennessee dry of all their good players.
And it's like, Tennessee's going to hate me, but they're gonna accept that I'm going to
give me all their players.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just going to go in. I mean, he is quickly turning into one of, if not the greatest GM in the NFL right now. He's like Houdini, making all these fucking moves. And, it's nice that he's on my side. And I'm keeping my eyes moving forward. The Eagles have the second hardest remaining schedule left. And I'm just going to try and keep a positive outlook and say, I had my worries about a team like the Dolphins, but, we found a way to do that. So there's no reason why it can't continue this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So
there's no reason it can't continue to be a good thing. All right, last game, the Monday night game. Huge upset. The Vikings get one over on the 49ers. McCaffrey plays a little bit, not too much, but they're missing some key players in San Fran. Nonetheless, Kirk Cousins and the boys make a menace of them, turn them into chopped liver, and, tell them to go back to the West Coast. I don't know. Kirk Cousins, good for him.
Brock Purdy finally comes back down to earth and joins the rest of the human race. I fully expected San Francisco to win this game, but it seemed like they couldn't get anything going offensively, and their scheme just wasn't there, and it seemed like they just had another off game. And so maybe they figured out Purdy. They figured out a way to throw him off his game. Maybe the defense got exposed a little bit. I know Kirk Cousins threw all over the place. He did get a little bit lucky there at that last that touchdown right before the half where Addison ripped the ball away from the defender and ended up scoring. But, hey, sometimes you need luck. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes the ball rolls your way. So, big step for Minnesota. I don't think they're done. I think 2 weeks ago, if you asked anybody, they would have said the Vikings were done. They're out. They're not making the playoffs. Last couple of weeks, they've gotten better. They've looked better. This past week, beating a team like San Francisco proves that you can be at least a division contender. I think Detroit will probably win that division, but Minnesota could make some noise. We'll see. Got to get Justin Jefferson back.
I agree. I think people who were sleeping on the Vikings, I mean, America's.
I was sleeping on the Vikings.
I was too. I thought they were dead in the water. I thought it was time for them to trade him to the Jets. Everybody had that as like for sure it was going to end up happening if they lost. It was like, good on the Vikings, good on Kirk Cousins to decide like, nah, this isn't going to be how we go out. We're gonna go out with a bang. I respect that out of them. I respect that the hell out of them. All right, our bets of the week weren't very good last week. Murph you had the Steelers at home -3 or Rams at home -3?
I had Rams at home -3.
You had Rams at home -3, which was a miss. Under 44. The score was 41, so that was a hit. I had Falcons at Bucks 2.5. I took the Falcons to win it because the Bucks were 2.5 points favorites, and that hit. But I said over 37. That did not hit. So 1-1, not our greatest. It is what it is. We'll move forward to what is Week 8 in the NFL. We'll go ahead, lock in our picks. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have put up good numbers, good enough numbers for you to believe that there is something here. We're well above 500. Even at this rate, if we missed, I would say 80% of the games, we would still be above 500, and that's very impressive to me because we're doing so well right now. Stay with us. If you like it, trust us, put in our bets, man. Trust it. All right, we have Thursday, October 26th, Buccaneers at Bills. What you got, Murph?
Taking Buffalo, coming off a bad loss against a divisional opponent. I think Josh Allen will finally get his head out of his ass that might be a little harsh. I just think Buffalo's going to play a lot better. They're going to show flashes of what they showed against Miami. Tampa Bay, I just don't think they have the offense to keep up with Buffalo.
There is a curse with Josh Allen that seems to carry over. He plays to whatever opponent that he has that week. I want to take the Buccaneers. I do. Oh, I do. I really do. But I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take the Bills just off vibes here, I think. I'm just going to ride with the Bills and say that I trust Josh Allen more than I trust Baker Mayfield. I think that's my deciding factor at the end of the day. All right. Moving on, we have Eagles at Commanders. Commanders gave the Eagles a run for the money last time. I'm going to take Philly, though.
Yeah, I'm taking Philly. I think Philly's just overall the better team. Washington has not looked good the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, Patriots at Dolphins. Patriots gave Dolphins issues earlier this year, but Dolphins coming off a tough loss. I think the Dolphins square it up and clean up their mistakes. They actually put a number. Mac Jones probably got his good win for the season. He's cool on chilling.
Yeah, I'm going with Miami here as well. I think they're going to put up a lot more than 17 points against a New England defense that is injury-ridden.
Yeah, New England's they're just short-handed. I think so too. All right, we have Jets returning to play off the bye week against the New York Giants. Tyrod Taylor still playing. Does that change anything for you?
It moves the needle a little bit, but I'm still taking the Jets here. I think they have a better defense. Coming off a bye week, they're going to have a solid game plan. Zach Wilson, can he continue to gather momentum, gather confidence? I think he's finally got the locker room is back behind him again. This just feels like a Jets win to me. I mean, they're playing at MetLife. They play at the same stadium, so it's not home or away. It's, it's the same. So I'm going Jets here.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to take the Jets as well. I think them coming off a bye week is huge. Their defense is the real deal. I'm right there behind you. All right, Jaguars at Steelers. Every week I pick against the Steelers, but they find ways to win. I mean, they're 4-2. The Steelers are. The Jaguars are 5-2, and I know I just praised the Jaguars for being a fucking damn good team, but this is a tougher decision for me than I feel like.
If this was at Jacksonville, I'll probably go with Jacksonville, but I think going into Pittsburgh, that's a hostile environment. Weather could be an issue. I just think Pittsburgh finds a way to muddy this one up, make it ugly enough that they find a way to get past Jacksonville. Jacksonville's on a four-game win streak. Eventually, that's got to come to an end. I don't think they run the table from here on out. I think Pittsburgh takes this one.
I'm going to take Jacksonville. I just like what they're doing right now. I trust in Doug Peterson and everything that he is, and I feel good about that one. All right, Falcons at Titans. I want to say Falcons. I think I'm going to say Falcons. Titans kind of just... They got Malik Willis and Will Levis playing this week, so I want to say Desmond Ridder can get the job done.
I hope that Desmond Ridder can play non-turnover football. I think if we can limit the turnovers, maybe just 1 or 2 this week, definitely have a better chance of winning. Like you said, Tennessee, trying to find out what they have with Will Levis. I think he's going to get the start this weekend. Rookie quarterback making his first, at least it's at home for him. He does have that going for him. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Atlanta here.
All right. Texans off the bye week against the 0-6 Panthers. CJ Stroud return. I'm going to take the Texans.
Yeah, I'm going with Houston here. Better offense, better defense. Carolina, just nothing. There's nothing there outside of Bryce
This
Young.
is the battle of the top quarterback picks. Do you see a place where...
No, I think Stroud has been on just a different level than these other rookie quarterbacks.
I can dig and respect that. I think I'm right there, kind of on the same boat as you. It's just it would be fun to see Bryce get his win, but obviously I'm a Stroud guy, so I'm going to take the Texans. All right, we have Rams at Cowboys. Ooh, I want to take the Rams.
I really want to take the Rams. I think I'm going to take the Rams.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to take the Rams going to Dallas, coming off a loss. I just don't think Dallas is that good. I really don't. I don't think they're that good. They have a real incredible defense, but Dak Prescott will lose you games. He will lose games. If it comes down to Dak making a throw, he's going to lose the game. We've seen it time and time again. I just think the Rams are going to scheme something up. They're going to have some way to trick Dak into making some type of, errant throw. And I think turnovers win this game.
Oh, man. This one is really tricky for me. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I hate it, but I'm gonna take the Cowboys and just hope, because I'm putting my heart into this one. I want to see the Cowboys with a great record and no doubts coming in, so we can beat them when everybody's saying they're on their high horse. So I'm gonna take the Cowboys, but this could be a game where the Rams fucking get them. If you feel good about it, fucking take it. All right, we have Vikings at Packers. This is a good get me game for the Vikings right here. I'm going to take the Vikings and not even think about it.
Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota as well. I think it's just a better team. Kirk Cousins outplays Jordan Love. I think the defense has finally figured some things out. They kind of have found an identity in a sense. So, yeah, I think Minnesota gets on a roll here and maybe rattles off 2 or 3 in a row.
That would be absolutely huge for them. They'd be at 4-4, back all the way at 500. All right, we have Saints at Colts. I do want to take. This is hard for me, actually.
I'm taking Indy here. I don't think that New Orleans offense can produce enough points to win. I mean, we saw Indianapolis put up, 38 points last week? I think Minshew is finally he's finding his way in this offense. They're finding a scheme that fits what Minshew does well. You know, I know New Orleans has a good defense, but I think Indianapolis has a good defense as well. And I think they have a better quarterback, better offense. They've got a fresh Jonathan Taylor. So, yeah, I'm going to go Indy here.
I'm also going to take the Colts. I think the Saints are in a place where they could get in trouble. I seen Olave just got pulled over going 25 over. And it's like, dude, what are you fucking doing, bro? Or 35 over, he's going 85 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone. It's just like, that's what Henry Ruggs just did, bro. It's like, get your shit together, bro.
Derek Carr, man, driving him crazy.
It's got to be something to do with Derek Carr. All right, we have Browns at Seahawks, battle of the 4 and 2s. PJ Walker is starting. I know the Browns defense is good. Oh,
I want to take Seattle.
The Browns have been surprising teams over the last couple of weeks, and I don't know that they can.
Yeah, they're not sneaking up on anybody anymore.
Yeah,
especially with PJ Walker starting. I'm going to take Seattle at home. You know, that's a long way to travel for Cleveland. It's 2 time changes, I think. Yeah, I just think Seattle. I think Seattle wins this one.
I love and respect the decision. I also want to take the Seahawks here. All right, Ravens at Cardinals. Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens. I'm not even going to say anything else.
Nope. Chiefs at Broncos.
Yeah, I'm not going to say nothing else about this one. Chiefs.
Bears at Chargers.
I'm going to go Chargers. They've lost 2 close games. As long as Staley doesn't fuck it up, I'm taking the Chargers.
If Staley loses this game, or if the Chargers lose this game, they go to 2-5, and the Bears go to 3-5. Is it time for them to move on, or what?
I mean, the nails aren't in the coffin, if you ask me. I think Staley's done, and I think he's out after this year. You know, especially with all that shit going on in Michigan, there's been, rumors of Harbaugh to LA Chargers. Not saying that I would hate it. So.
I like it. All right,
must win for Chargers.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think it's must win for the Chargers. I don't think the Bears really want to win this game. They got their feel-good win with Badgett.
Yeah, they don't want to win too many games,
Yeah. I'm gonna take the Chargers here. All right, last game Monday, October 30th. We have the Raiders at the Lions. Lions get right. That's who I'm taking.
I'm all over Detroit on this one. I mean, they're going to be pissed off, back at home, ready to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped 45 in this game.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's going to have these boys fucking riled.
This is going to be what they call it, a kneecap buffet.
Yeah, bro. This is going to be a game where, Dan Campbell's going to have these boys fucking itching.
Fired up.
Itching. So.
Actually, this is, if we want to go ahead, this is my bet of the week. I've got Detroit -8 at home, and then I'm going to take the over at 45 because, like I said, I think Detroit liable to put up 45 by themselves.
8-point spread. I kind of like that. And I feel like I would have put that as my cover. I was leaning towards doing the Chargers not covering 8.5. I think, man. But I seen something else that pulled me even a lot. I felt a lot better about. I think that the San Francisco 49ers do not cover 3.5. If they do win, it'll be by 3 points.
So
It's
you're
a
taking
tough one.
Cincy plus 3 or plus 2.5?
Cincy, I'm taking Cincy plus 3. I'm going to say that they cover and possibly win this game. I'm not sure on the over here. I don't have it in front of me. You have that in front of you? I would reckon to say it's probably 47 and a half.
What are we looking at here? The
49
Cincinnati game?
Bengals. Yeah.
It is 43.5 over under.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take the over here. I was at 47 on that game, so I'm going to take the over there. Bengals cover 3.5. Over 47. I'm going to take it. Or over 43.5. Bada bing, bada boom, like it is.
Alrighty
That's so
then. That wraps up our Pick'em and Bet of the Week segment. Alright, just a couple more things. Our first inaugural Commish Bowl. So this is the game. This was the week that me and Cozy played each other in fantasy. It came down to the wire. Absolute barn burner of a fantasy game. It's one of the closest fantasy games I've been a part of since I've been playing. Came down to DeAndre Swift rushing for 22 yards that gave me 2 points that I needed to go over 161 and beat Cozy. 161.78 to 159. So without that last rush, I would have lost. That's how close the game was. It came down to one play. And we would have had more hype. We would have put more hype on it last week, but we didn't even realize that we played each other until after we recorded. So
it's the most bullshit fucking ass win. If you haven't heard me say it, I hate fantasy football because the shit's rigged. I know Murph was in there skewing with the fucking points last time I checked. I was up by 3 points, then whatever. He gets a rush in 2 yards. Whatever. Fuck you, buddy. How about that?
I had a rush of 22 yards. Thank you.
It was a good game. If you
It was,
are,
man.
I think next week we need to take a moment and kind of do a up to date where we're standings in our league. I think people would appreciate that.
Yeah,
Kinda
we
give
can.
some light.
We can do it like a mid-season check-in or something.
Yeah, I think that would definitely give some people
It's
a little
pretty
bit
stacked
of
up, though. Honestly, it's pretty stacked up. Everybody's kind of bunched together. 5-2, 4-3, 3-4. I'm 3-4. You're 4-3. Or no, we're both.
No, I'm 3-4. You're 4-3. I believe.
Let's look it up. Hold on. Pull it up real quick. Let's see here. You're setting at 3-4, and I at number 11, and I'm number 10 at 3-4. So pretty stacked up. We got Team White and Temple at the bottom at 2-5, but everybody else is pretty much stacked up on top of each other.
It's a fun league. I think there's
I think
probably
people
more
have fun
content
with it.
Yeah, and the free agent market is very, very, very fucking slim. It's tight, so you got to be on top of your free agents and shit. And I think that's what's keeping people really locked in on it, is because like you got to stay on top of it. If you miss somebody, you might not have a chance.
Might
Like,
have a chance that week, yeah.
I had to start Taysom Hill as my quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And thank God Taysom Hill went off for 21 points in our league. Like, I wouldn't have been in it.
That's seriously what made our game close, is because I saw you start Taysom Hill and I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. And then he goes off for 2 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah, got your ass, bitch.
Almost.
Almost.
Next year we'll see.
No, it was definitely a good little run. I've been having fun with it. So we'll do a fantasy update within the next week. Murph, you got anything else that you would like to speak on and get us out of here?
Well, we're almost at 2 hours, so I was just gonna say, NBA season is here.
Yes.
Excited about that, even though I don't really pay attention until after the All-Star break, just like in baseball. But hey, more sports, always a good thing. Other than that, I don't really have anything.
Yeah. Well, we drifted a little bit this episode because there has been, obviously the World Series is going on. NBA season has started. Like, there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, we already talk about so fucking much, so I'll cut it down as best as I can. And aside from that, please go check out our social media pages. We've had some good things, impressions, views, listens. Everything's up right now. So we appreciate everybody that has given us a chance and decided like this is something that can work for them. So with that said, continue to do your thing, share it with people. Word of mouth goes probably the longest way in all of this. So with love, we appreciate you guys. OC and Murph on every social media app and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Pods, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, we've got it listed. Aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, be good, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.